Hello, welcome back to my channel. I haven't done any fun videos in so long and I'm really feeling the urge to have some fun on my channel again because I keep talking about the universe and life is so much more than what is around us. Can I get an amen for that? Okay, so I want to talk about creative pursuits and how they are so much fun and necessary for the human soul. And the whole, do you know what I mean? Because like realistically, what is life if you don't bring your joy and your passion to it? Like realistically, I had this fantastic idea which I literally am 100% on board with, of you are, you know, find what you're passionate about and then do that. Because realistically, what is the point in doing things that you're not interested in? Do you know what I mean? Why are people coming into life with a half-ass, you know, mindset and then being like, okay, well, why aren't I happy? Why aren't I fulfilled? Why aren't I this? Why aren't I that? Because I personally am on my find your dream life game, and with that comes like fully manifesting exactly what I want and what I'm made for realistically, and bringing that to fruition, because I quite frankly am fed up of the stagnant life. Stagnant life is not for me. I am on fire for life kind of person, and because I'm a Sagittarius, that's probably why I have to be on fire for things. I'm not one of those people that can just be like, oh, I'm like chilling a 9 to 5, and you know what, I honestly don't think that actually exists either. I think when people say that they are happy in a 9 to 5 and like people minimize that, I genuinely think the people that enjoy a 9 to 5, if you have, some people have a passion for a particular 9 to 5 that they do. I'm not saying 9 to 5 is bad. I would quite happily do a 9 to 5 if I was passionate about it. Whatever the job was, they included those hours, they're literally just working hours. But I feel like everyone does what they're passionate about, what they're supposed to be doing, what they enjoy doing, what they need to be doing, what they want to be doing, what they should be doing, in a sense. People do change jobs, yes, but I'm not going to way past being like, okay, well, I just saw 222. I always bring up angel numbers that I see. 222, I feel like is just like, let the world carry you through life, basically. That is what that means. And I feel like it's relevant because, you know, obviously everyone is actually going to move from like one thing to another thing, but you know, if you're not embodying your passions realistically, like it's like realistically everyone, what I notice, if you level up, and by level up I mean leveling up in yourself, if you get in alignment with your goals and with yourself, everyone will meet you there. And the thing is, they won't judge you for it, because someone can be jealous but still have admiration for you. Realistically, everyone wants, can we just notice that I do have my soft toys up there? Just thought I'd just like knock the elephant out the room there. Everyone wants to have a feeling of completion and a feeling of groundedness within themselves and feel like they're in the right place, they're grounded in the right place. No one feels like they want to be floating in nothingness. Do you know what I mean? That is a horrible concept to think of, and I feel like when people get lost in life, it's generally because they're floating and because they don't know what they're doing. And people, I feel like, end up in this situation, I do not want to digress too hard, but I feel like people end up in this situation for many reasons. Being traumatized, following a parent that maybe doesn't have much direction in life, having, you know, negative influences, things where you have a solid belief system involved in your mindset, where you can just be like, it's not worth striving for my goal, it's not possible to strive for my goal. And as I mentioned in my last video, I'm definitely seeing that like my dreams are actually much more in my reach than I thought. And to be honest with you, I had like massive amounts of, like, a fair few seasons, and people that have watched my videos will have seen that I've posted a lot of videos about leveling up through the universe, going through those universal doors and like really unpacking my feelings as to what I am experiencing in a situation, and actually, you know, making that action to reference what my body is telling me, what the universe is telling me. And I'm really going through a period of just like, you can make adjustments in that also, I find, because based on your circumstances, if your circumstances change, it's necessary to make that sort of U-turn, and that's respectable. You know, it's not to say, oh, you can stand by a concept for like the whole of your life, and then if you make a U-turn on that, who the fuck's that gonna judge you? Do you know what I mean? Realistically, the only person you can let down is yourself, and I genuinely believe that is the truth. Like, that is a fact. Realistically, I'm not letting myself down by adapting. Do you know what I mean? And anyone that has a fixed mindset is idolizing. Realistically, we all have to adapt, and we all do adapt. And anyway, it's just the level of, you know, if you I did a lot of seasons of leveling up, and I feel like the fruit of that is so prominent in my life at the moment. And I feel like when you do level up, and when you find your level, and when you find the meaning behind what your body is telling you, and you ground yourself, it is so rewarding. You won't go back, you will not, but you can adapt, and you can meet new people which help you grow in areas as to where you have sort of grounded yourself. And what I find is a nice analogy is the fact that other people will be the sun on your seeds that you've planted in particular areas, and that's why you level up, and then kind of different experiences come to fruition through that leveling up process. And I'm a massive believer of that. But also, I feel like it's a very hopeless place to be if you are not grounded, and if you are not aware of what you want, because realistically it is a natural rule of thumb. If you don't know what you want, and there's nothing wrong with saying right now I don't know what I want, that is okay, but it's also saying, like, do you know what, I am then going to uptake that work necessary to understand why I'm not grounded in an area, unpack what comes with that, because actually a massive part of evolving is carrying generational trauma, which is something I haven't actually massively taken into account, to be honest, in my healing journey. Past lives, I believe in past lives. I'm not pushing that on anyone. I believe in past lives and that you can carry past life trauma forward, but generational trauma is a real thing, and it's stored within our cells. If you grew up with a parent with depression, you probably have a lot of trauma stored in your body cellularly, simply for a level in your emotional body, just because we carry ancestral trauma. And that is a thing, and understanding that is like completely necessary, to be honest, when evolving. I find, and that is part of it as well. I feel like that's my current journey, to be honest, annoyingly enough, because I think actually for me it's taken a point, and I suppose everyone handles this differently, it depends how healthy your upbringing was, but I think it's taken me time to get to a place within myself where I'm like, I know myself enough to then start to unpack my generational trauma as well, because it's really hard when you've had generational trauma to unpick what is you and what is your ancestral trauma, to be honest, when you're sort of indoctrinated into all those belief systems and stuff. I feel like I was definitely supposed to start talking about passions, but realistically, I'm a massive believer of you manifest your reality. I can't say that the universe hasn't got a lot of struggles and battles for people, because I think we all naturally have the same level of stress and negative experiences and fearful experiences. I do believe that mindset is a big deal, so to have a resilient mindset on the fact that those things are going to happen is helpful for the kind of drive that it takes to get past those experiences. But we all, you know, that being said, I do believe that, like, if hopelessness is a feeling that you can have, it's about understanding where that comes from. And as I say, you do manifest things, and it's powerful, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people, especially if they have learned hopelessness, don't tap into enough. But I do think also there is a place for, like, rest as well. Like, I think depending on how healthy your upbringing and your ancestral lineage is, as to how much work you have done and your ancestral lineage has done into grounding the self and your soul, and taught you how to ground yourself and your soul in your upbringing, depends on how much as an adult oneself has to also do that. And it really depends from person to person, because I have seen many families that are very good at, you know, coaxing their, do you know what I mean, the younger generation of people into embodying themselves. But I've also seen it worse than myself, where there has been families that really push people into a particular boat of you have to be religious, you have to have a really high work ethic, you have to X, Y, and Z, do you know what I mean? You have to marry this person. And it's so like I wouldn't say it's toxic, because I believe obviously in a sense it's helpful to have a push, but I think if you are diminished in a sense because of other people's wishes within your ancestral lineage, to put it nicely, it's really damaging, and it minimizes the space for the soul in yourself, and it is really unhelpful. So you have to like relearn those things. As a rule, I'm very aware of the fact it's only 10 minutes, but sometimes it's okay to have short videos. When I'm doing my podcasts, I generally ramble on for like an hour, but I feel like my channel is in need of some injection of passion, to be honest, because I tend to just like ramble about the universe at the moment, which I feel like it's an insightful thing to just like have on in the background. Check out my podcast if you want podcast rambles. I've got a little playlist on there. And it's like a podcast section on my channel, but it's good, I feel like, to just have one in the background. I actually listen to them to myself sometimes because it's just like a good like little perspective. If you notice I'm just like playing with my tongue, it's because I've just got a lab rat piercing on, just like very impulsively, but it's very fun to just sort of play with. But yeah, I feel like that seasons for that always come back around, and realistically we all have passions that we all kind of engage in, and I feel like it's when you can plant that as well, that's like the real test of like really bringing things to fruition, really, is to, you know, plant your passions, ground them, understand how you can make them come into fruition, and then you're living your dream life. Boom, that's how you do it realistically. and I'm applying new skills from a mindset to another mindset, and really hoping that that's going to improve my experience. But yeah, I'm gonna actually just leave it there rather than ramble on for an hour. But thanks for listening, and goodbye.